Hi, I'm Sarit Greenberg from Wool & Fan, and today we are in part 5 of the Massiel Shawl New Generation C2C Cal. In this part we are going to make a C2C, a Diamond C2C. We are going to use the basic square and the chain square that we made in part 3, but in part 3 we make it in a rows, and in this part for making the diamonds we need to alternatively work the basic and the chain square. So in part 5 we start with the 2 rows that I already made. Rows 53, it's the increase square, repeat basic square across, and in the last square work the basic square, turn, and in row 54 increase square, repeat chain square across, and in the last square work the basic square and turn. So now I'm ready to show you how to do the diamond. Actually it's row 55, and in this part we will work the basic square and the chain square into the chain 3 space or into the chain 6 space, depends on what was made in the previous rows. Okay, so in row 55 we start of course with the increase square. Just a minute, I will fix it. Okay, 1 2 3 finger mark, 5 6 7, this into the third chain from hook, and this into the next chain. Okay, and now I'm going to repeat the chain square and the basic square across. First I will do the chain, so it's slip stitch, and 1 2 4 5 6, and now the basic slip stitch, chain 3 and 3, you see, in the same space. And again chain square, so it slip stitch into the next chain space, in this case is the 6th chain space, 1 2 3 4 5 6, chain 6 and the basic square into the next 6 chain space, so slip stitch, chain 3 and 3 DC in the same space. So we need to repeat the chain square and the basic square across, leaving 2 stitches before the end, and then make the chain square and basic square. Actually we repeat the chain square and the basic square till the end, so you can continue with these rows, and I'm going to meet you in the end of the row. We are in the end of row 55, so in the last 2 square I'm working the chain square and the basic square. Turn, and now in row 56 we need to do the basic square across. Don't forget the increase square. And now the basic square, we are going to do it in the chain 3 space and then in the 6 chain space, but we are going to do the basic all the row. Okay, so slip stitch into the next 3 chain space, chain 3, and through DC in the same space. And now the basic into the next chain 6 space, so slip stitch, chain 3 and 3 DC into the same space, and again once into the next chain 3 space, and the next one into the chain 6 space. Okay, so now you can continue to crochet the basic square across the row. Don't forget to make the last basic square into the last square of the row. Okay, so we are in the end of row 56. I made a basic square across the row, so now turn, and in row 57 we are going to do alternately the basic square and the chain square, but in this row we will start with the basic square. So of course the first one is the increase. And now repeat the basic square, chain square, basic square, chain square across, leaving the two last square before the end, and then we are going to work the basic and the basic again, so 2 basic in the end of the row. So after the increase I start with the basic square, and then the chain square, 4, 5, 6, and again the basic square, slip stitch, and 3. I have a mess with the yarn, fix it. Okay, 3 DC in the same space, and now the chain space, okay, and you can see the first diamond is done. And we need to continue across the row to work the basic square and then the chain square. The basic square. And the chain square. Okay, now see those beautiful diamonds we have. So you now continue with row 57 and I'm going to meet you in the end of the row. We are at the end of row 57. In the two last square we need to work the basic square. And in the last, again, the basic square. And turn. So now I have the first row of the diamond, and you need to repeat the 4 last rows twice again. So the first row is the chain square rows. So I'm going to start with the increase square, and then chain square across the row, and in the end I'm going to make the we need to go to make the basic square. Okay, you see, once we have a chain 3 space, and in the second we have chain 6 space. Okay, so the first row of the repeat is a chain row. Then we need to repeat row 55, starting with the increase, then chain square, basic square, like this. Chain square, basic, chain square, basic square. The third row 56, we're going to do the basic square all over the rows, the row. And in the last row of the repeat we are going to make a basic chain across the row. So you can continue the all repeat you need and make all the 3 rows of diamond. Then after you finish the last row of the diamond, we need to end with a chain square row and with a basic square row, and this going to be your last row of the shawl. And then you have 2 options. You can leave it with the basic square, or you can do the straighten square. So I'm going to meet you in the end, in the last row, and show you the two options you have. Okay, so we are in the end of the last basic square rows. Of course, this is a little sample, so I have just one diamond rows. You will have 3 of them. The last row is basic square rows, and now you have 2 options. If you like the wavy look, like I have here, so you're going to repeat the basic square all around, and this is going to be the end of your part 5. And the second option is for the straighten look. I'm going to show you how to do it. We start with the increase, square as usual, and now I'm going to do the straighten square across. So the straighten square go like this, slip stitch into the next chain 3 space, sorry, and then after the slip stitch we are going to chain 1, only chain 1, and then in the same space I work single crochet, half double crochet, and double crochet in DC, and again slip stitch, chain 1, 1 single crochet, 1 HDC, and 1 DC. Slip stitch, chain 1, single crochet, half double crochet, and double crochet. Okay, and this is going to be your last row. No matter if you choose option A or option B, in the end of the row do not turn the work, because we are going to continue to start the border next part, and we are going to crochet it all over the edge of the shawl. So don't forget to not turn the work in the end of the row. Thank you, and we are going to meet in the next part.